Hey, good Friday morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. A lot going on in this weather, and the reason why is because we have a winter storm system coming in at the time when obviously the ground is still warm. The Great Lakes water temperatures are still in the 50s. So we got a lot of mixing forces. We got to figure it out, but don't you worry. I think I've got it figured out. So let's get on into it. And here we go. So our first cold front has moved through. First of, I guess what I would call like 3 cold fronts through the weekend. So the showers still hanging on in the Detroit area, maybe Ann Arbor. Will be over here in the next hour or so. The rest of the state is dry and will mostly be dry. Where we're going to start is just, I kind of teased you with, is our mid-November warm-up in jeopardy? And so let me show you what I'm talking about first, and then we'll get back into the real weather, okay? All right, so here we go. Upper airflow. So here is our storm system dropping southward Sunday into Monday and then moving off to the northeast. But another lobe dumbbells around. Thank you, person. Another lobe dumbbells around late next week, kind of reinforcing the cold air. Now we're at November 16th, and there's another one, and that's how our warm-ups, long-term warm-ups, fade away, is if we keep kind of in a northwesterly flow. Sorry, now my wife is going to actually vacuum above me. So this is by November 22nd, so it's not a real cold thing, but it's not as warm as what it was. All right, so here's your radar forecast. We've had the showers move through. This is starting right now. So as we go through the afternoon, you could be a little bit spritzily in the northern half of lower Michigan. You could be snow showery in the UP. Southern lower, probably dry. Saginaw to Grand Rapids southward, probably dry. And now we go into Saturday, and Saturday night and Sunday morning is what we're watching here. So this is Saturday evening, the rain develops and then changes over to snow. This is 6 a.m. Sunday, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and 1 p.m. So towards Sunday morning, we see a burst of snow developing. Kalamazoo, Lansing, Jackson, Ann Arbor, Flint, Detroit area, Port Huron. And then we would transition to lake effect for a couple of days after that. I got to show you this. Now remember, when we look at this snowfall, the one thing that I want you to promise me is that you don't look at the numbers without cutting them in half. This is a snowfall forecast. It doesn't incorporate melting on the ground, so that's why I cut it in half. So I'm going to warn you, you're going to see purple, you're going to see 6 inches. People are going to run with it. It's going to turn into a half a foot. No, probably 1, 2, maybe 3 inches at one point, and then as soon as it stops, it starts melting down. So here we go. But this gives you a good idea of the location of where snow should accumulate. So this is through tomorrow morning. Maybe you get some snow Manistee to Ludington on a lake effect band. This is that snow Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Okay? And there you see it. 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in the far southeast. Let's call it 1 to 2 inches, probably. Anywhere that you see any shading, 1 to 2 inches. And then you see the lake effect out over Lake Michigan, which will eventually turn inland in the very southwest corner. I want to hit update here just real quickly, see if the new 12Z gives us any more. It gives us out to 42 hours, which is 1 a.m. Sunday. So we really don't get anything new just yet. The new data is coming in. Now, here's the European model. And you can see it nicely. So here's the European model. And it shows, it's been showing for quite some time, this idea of the Saturday night, Sunday snow in the southeast. There it is. That's Sunday morning. And then we go into the afternoon and we start to just get a general rotation of snow showers and precipitation. Deadlock. So it's going to be a mess driving to church Sunday morning. I wouldn't say a mess. It depends on where you're at. If you're in the heart of that snow in the far southeast, it might build up on the road briefly. You know, it's got to snow pretty hard when the roads are warm. And we won't really have extremely cold air until we get to Sunday night and Monday when it takes the heat out of the roads. But this is Monday. Now, this is something very interesting too. Note how this model, as they've enhanced it, actually picks up on a lake-induced vortex forming. This is Sunday night. See that circle rolling down Lake Michigan? That's a vortex that enhances the snow, and we'll just have to see where it takes it. But it looks like very south end of Lake Michigan, very southwest corner, 1 or 2 counties of lower Michigan, and then into northern Indiana. Northern Indiana, I see around Gary, Valparaiso, they have a 4 to 8 inch snowfall forecast, and that seems legit, and it's probably a 3 to 7 inch forecast somewhere in the far southeast, southwest corner of Michigan. So this is a snow depth off of that same model by Tuesday morning. And it gives you the idea. Traverse City to Frankfort to Manistee to Ludington, along the shoreline, down in the southwest, 1, 2, 3 inches of snow. And that purple area, that's 6 inches, and that seems legit somewhere down in there. Elsewhere, just light amounts. And as we run this out, remember, this is snow depth, so as it warms up, the snow goes away, and as we go out 10 days, you don't get really anything back, although the UP still forecasted to have some snow on the ground. Okay, so now is the mid-November warm-up that I've been talking about. Is that fading? It is, in my mind, a little bit. We still get back to warmer than normal, but remember, the average temperature is going down 1 degree every 2 to 3 days. So by the time we get to mid-November, your average temperature is in the mid-40s, and you know, you might get 50, might get 55 in the far south. I don't know if we got a 60. It would have to come back. It's certainly possible, but it's looking less likely. So what we're looking at here is the more stable European ensemble of the temperature anomaly. And there's our cold blast right now. Note a secondary cold blast developing late next week, Thursday, Friday. So that kind of slows down the warm-up. And then we go to November 15th, and we're still into the warmer air, but just by a few degrees. And we're out to November 17th and 18th and 19th. And, you know, so it shows going a little warmer than normal, but I'm not so sure that it's going to be a big deal by the time we get that far out. Today we're in the upper 50s in the south, but only 40s in the north and in the UP. Oh, and by the way, can I just give you a little bit of info about UP? I get messages rarely from people in the UP. They want to know what's going on in their weather. They're like, why do you ignore the UP? I don't ignore the UP. Just the thing is, the UP has such a different weather pattern that if I include that in, I water everything down for most of our readers in lower Michigan, and most of our readers in the southern half of lower Michigan, although the new studies they've done at MLive show that northern lower Michigan is really reading and using MLive as well. So welcome there. So you will notice we've always paid attention to Traverse City area and the Northwest Snowbelts because that's an area that people travel to. But the UP is tough. So I don't ignore you, but I don't focus on you. You kind of need to get your own weather service up there. Sorry. So tomorrow is much cooler. Low 40s in the south, 30s in the northern lower and the UP. This is Sunday. Now, look at the high temperature forecasts for, say, Monroe, Detroit, Ann Arbor. 37, 38 degrees. You get a lot of melting at that. You have a hard time having accumulation. So that's why I think it's going to be real slushy. Cut everything in half, at least, of what you see. And then this is Monday, which is cold with high temperatures in the low 30s. Doesn't look like record cold highs, but only a few degrees off. So if you're thinking, is that cold for November 10th? Yes, extremely cold for November 10th. Here's Tuesday, upper 30s. Here's Wednesday, back to the 40s to near 50. Thursday, and remember I showed you kind of a reinforcing shot of cool air. November 15th, opening day of firearm deer season. So remember this model was showing 50s and a 60-degree day in there. Kind of nixing it now, and we'll just have to see. It's really a tough time for long-range forecasts out after maybe 7 or 8 days because things can sneak in pretty quickly, but we'll catch up on them. So there you have it, a whole hodgepodge of weather this weekend. The only travel problems really Sunday morning, far southeast, northern Ohio. Maybe because it comes down at a heavier rate for an hour or two, maybe it gets slushy on the roads, and we know how people drive on the first snow, right? And then when we transition to lake effect and it gets colder, we will have heavy snow in the far southwest corner of lower Michigan Sunday night, Monday night, and into northern Indiana. So if you're driving to Chicago, say, Sunday night or Monday, you're probably going to want to take that southern route. Take I-80 instead of 94, something like that. So there's your MLive morning weather update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and have yourselves a great weekend. Take care.